green earth. In fact, they are so unscrupulous. They are so bad that their names are never mentioned. They don't exist. They are extinct because they have been banned for life. Right now you are saying, what is he talking about? Don't worry about me. I am the storyteller. You are the storytellee. Let me tell you the story. So Mr. Rabbit decided, oh, I know what I will do. I will recruit the most unscrupulous animals that are extinct today. I am going to recruit the didos. Now you are saying, what is a dido? A dido is a creature many years ago, very small, about the size of a rat or a mouse. But in fact, it was a mouse with bigger legs, shorter tail, bigger teeth. But the beauty of this creature was that it had the power to flatten itself into small surfaces and leech itself for a long time. If it is today's context, it will be considered a parasite. Didos were parasites, and they ran in packs. In other words, they did not do anything by themselves. There was no lone ranger. They did everything in packs. Packs of didos. But we continue with the story because time is ticking and they are not paying me enough for this. So Mr. Rabbit went to the didos, and as he entered their neighborhood, the didos immediately surrounded Mr. Rabbit, ready to rip him limb to limb. That's how they eat. They attack like a pack of piranhas. But then Mr. Rabbit said, stop. Before you attack me, I have a proposition for you. I am going to offer you a place to stay, a home to live in, where you will never want for food, where you will never want for sun, in fact, it will be your home. And of course, as I said, the didos never did anything individually. The didos whispered among themselves. And of course, they didn't talk. So what they did, they wrote on the floor, on the ground for Mr. Rabbit to see. What do you mean? And Mr. Rabbit said, it's simple. I want to beat Mr. Tortoise in a race, once and for all. And what I'm going to do is, while Mr. Tortoise is sleeping and relaxing for his next race, I want you to come with me. And while I keep him distracted, watch whether he's sleeping or not, I want you to sneak under his shell that he carries around. All of you, get into his shell and quietly stay there, so that when we run our race, the weight of carrying all of you on his back will be so much I will finally beat him. And I'm offering you, as I've said, that home will be yours forever. You will never be able to, he will never be able to kick you out. What do you think of this proposal? Well, of course, the didos, as I've said, are scavengers, always looking for a home, but have never found one. Mr. Rabbit gave them the option that this will be your home forever, ever, ever. And so the didos wrote on the ground and said, in the writing on the ground, they accept. So, the next morning, cuckoo-cuckoo! The next morning, the seeds of cheating had been sown. It was almost an hour before their scheduled race. Mr. Rabbit led the didos up the hill into where Mr. Tortoise was staying. As Mr. Tortoise was sleeping, the didos made their move. They quickly scampered, and one by one, as Mr. Tortoise was sleeping, they went into the shell that Mr. Tortoise put on his back. In fact, the house was on his back already. But don't forget, back then, up to that point, it was very light, so it could always be Mr. Rabbit. The didos eventually made their way, all of them, all clans of the didos made their way into the shell of the tortoise and stayed there. And so, an hour later, the tortoise woke up and Mr. Rabbit was there waiting for him. Hey, Mr. Tortoise, are you ready for a race? And Mr. Tortoise said, oh, you don't know how to, you don't know when you have been beaten, eh? I've beaten you every time, but let's do this again, no problem. Even at my tired self right now, I don't know why I'm tired, but even as tired as I am, I still beat you. Mr. Rabbit said, no problem. So if that's the case, let's make a bet. Let's make a wager. If I beat you in this race today, you must promise that you will never take your shell off your back. From now and forevermore, you will always carry your house on your back, and you will never take it off for any reason. And Mr. Tortoise was thinking to himself. First of all, he laughed. Mr. Rabbit, are you drunk? So you are saying that if you beat me by some miraculous reason, that I must wear my house, my shell on my back for the rest of my life. Is that what you are saying? And Mr. Rabbit said, yes. In fact, you know what, said Mr. Tortoise, I will go one better. Not only do I accept that if you, by some fluke, beat me, that I will carry my shell on my back, but also, I will make sure that nobody else beats you, that nobody else beats you in terms of racing, and everybody beats me. In fact, I will be forever known as the slowest animal in the world. It will be written in law that I am the slowest animal in the world. So I accept your stipulation. Not only will I carry my house on my back for the rest of my life, but I will be branded the slowest animal on the world. But you know what, Mr. Rabbit? You're not going to win. You are not going to win. Okay. So Mr. Tortoise's arrogance caught up with him. Obviously, he woke up feeling a little heavy. He didn't know why. Not knowing that the Didos had made their way silently into his shell, into his house, and were just sitting there chilling, having a good time, relaxing. And so the race started. On your mark, set, go. It wasn't even close. Mr. Tortoise made 3 steps and was done. In fact, he just fled out and was perspiring. He was perspiring like a pig that is about to be stuffed into the oven and is still alive. He was tired. Mr. Rabbit flogged Mr. Tortoise all night long. They ran 10 times, he flogged him 10 times. They ran 11 times, he flogged him 12 times. He beat him mercilessly. And at the end, Mr. Tortoise was so tired, he couldn't even move. And he was, and at the end of the race, he said, Mr. Rabbit, I don't know what happened. Why am I feel so tired? And then Mr. Rabbit said, good for you. That's what you get. I am now the champion. And from now on, you are the slowest animal in the world. And you will carry your house on your back forever. You know why you lost? And Mr. Tortoise said, why did I lose? You lost, said Mr. Rabbit, because I invited the Dido animals to scroll into your back and live in your house. They were in your house. That's why you couldn't move. And then Mr. Tortoise said, you evil rabbit, you. Mr. Tortoise was so tired and so worn out by the races he had run with carrying those Didos on his back, he passed out asleep. And that is why, from then and now forevermore, not only is the tortoise considered the slowest animal in the world, but he always carries his shell, his house, on his back. That is why the tortoise does that. And that is why the rabbit is the most cunning and fastest animal in the world. Join me next week for another folklore and mythology. What the story will be, who knows? But where there are animals, there is a folklore. Where there is an animal, there is a mythology. If you don't know what mythology is, put down the PlayStation, put down that DVD, put that McDonald's sandwich down and go read a book. This has been Papa Jero giving you folklore on yapdem.com. Good night to everybody and God bless.